Tonight, Action News investigates a local dentist who says he used paper clips for root canals.
Bought at an office supply store, then permanently inserted into patients' mouths. Investigative reporter Paul Van Osdol joining us now. Paul, state regulators don't seem to have an objection with this.
Well, you know, it's been 5 years since state officials first heard of former employees' complaint about the dentist using paper clips, but no disciplinary action has been taken against him. We learned about this because of an ongoing lawsuit between the dentist and that former employee who he fired. State regulators appear to have found nothing wrong with the practice. I talked to an expert in root canals who was shocked to hear any dentist was putting paper clips in patients' mouths. When dentists perform a root canal, they use a specially designed piece of metal called a post to hold the reconstructed tooth in place. Dr. Michael Lysian is an endodontist, a dentist specializing in root canals.
They're made for what they're supposed to do, and that's to retain the filling material within the tooth. The idea of the post is to hold in a filling, and a paperclip just won't do that.
State regulators seem to disagree. They found no cause for alarm when they were told about one local dentist using paper clips. In this deposition taken earlier this year, that dentist, Dr. Samuel Polina, admitted using paper clips frequently. The deposition came in a lawsuit he filed against a former employee.
Have you always used them?
If I felt the need for something that had a little bit more give, yes, I was taught to use them.
Polina's main office is in Johnstown. He also practices at this office in Shadyside, and he previously practiced in Monessen. In his deposition, Polina said he had one of his employees buy the paper clips at Staples, and then he sterilized them at his office. The attorney questioning him pointed out that posts designed for root canals cost $3 a piece, but paper clips can be bought at Staples for just 4 cents.
When you were buying paper clips from Staples to be put in the mouths of human beings, how much did they cost? Was it about that?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure it was similar.
When dentists do root canals, they use these specially designed drills that match the size of the posts. Polina was also asked about that during his deposition.
At Staples, could you buy any matching drills with these paper clips?
No, but I could get
Is the answer no?
No.
Polina said former office manager Debbie DeShong was the employee who bought the paper clips. She spoke with Action News Investigates. Do you think any of his patients knew that he was using paper clips?
No. No patients knew he was using paper clips.
In fact, Polina admits in his deposition that he did not tell patients he had put paper clips in their mouths. DeShong was fired by Polina in 2010. She says because she raised questions about his ethics, but Polina says she was not showing up for work. She says she then filed fraud complaints against him with the State Dental Board and the State Department of Public Welfare, since most of Polina's patients had Medicaid. Court records show Public Welfare initially suspended Polina's Medicaid payments and referred his case to the Attorney General for prosecution, but the AG declined to prosecute. Ultimately, an appeals board at Public Welfare found no evidence of fraud. As for the Dental Board, Polina's attorney tells me it closed its case without filing any charges whatsoever earlier this year. He added, no agency has determined he's done anything improper. Dental Board spokesperson Wanda Murren said the board has never issued an opinion on Polina's use of paper clips. But she added, board investigators could have examined complaints and dismissed them without sending them to the full board. She did say Polina previously said he used paper clips as temporary posts. In the latest deposition, he said he uses them as permanent posts. That has changed. But in this email from 2011 obtained by Action News Investigates, an attorney who at the time prosecuted dental board cases says Polina admitted to our investigator today that he provided paper clips as permanent posts, not just temporaries, as he stated previously. Murren of the Dental Board would not comment about that email. DeShong cannot understand why the State Dentistry Board appears to be telling dentists it's okay to install paper clips in their patients' mouths.
I can't see being allowed to use a paper clip in a patient's tooth, especially without their knowledge.
In his deposition, Polina said his dental assistants would straighten the paper clips and then he would cut them to the proper size before sterilizing them and then inserting them into the patient's mouth during the root canal procedure. But Dr. Lysian, the root canal specialist, says paper clips are not designed to go into a person's mouth.
It won't fit in there. It's going to be loose. So if this is loose, the filling material will be loose, and ultimately the seal will be broken and lead to infection.
Now, we have no reason to believe any of Polina's patients suffered infections after having paper clips inserted in their mouths. Polina is now suing Debbie DeShong and the state's dental expert who recommended the charges be filed against him. That's the case where he gave the deposition admitting he used paper clips. Polina declined to comment beyond his deposition.
Paul, really eye-opening. I'm wondering, are there any laws or regulations against using paper clips in the world of dentistry, anywhere?
Well, I talked to the FDA, which regulates medical devices. A spokesperson there said in general they do not consider paper clips to be medical devices. Not surprising, right? But the FDA does not regulate the practice of dentistry. The state dental board does, but it says it has never ruled on whether paper clips are appropriate to be used in root canals.